Hi there, welcome. Kat Matlock here at Free Body in Asheville, North Carolina. And today I'm going to talk to you, teach you how to release this little small mystery muscle that stabilizes the whole shoulder girdle and can be contributing to your symptoms of thoracic outlet syndrome, median nerve entrapment, radiating aching, numbness, tingling down the arm into the fingers. So before I get to that, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, do the things, hit the bell so that you get notifications because I'm releasing a lot of content. Join our community. It's learning how to take care of your body so that you can live well and feel as well as you can in your body. So let's get to this video. What is this mystery little muscle that stabilizes the whole shoulder girdle and that can lead to those symptoms of radiating numbness and tingling or deep ache that goes down the arm, down the biceps, into the forearm, and then into the thumb and the first few fingers. Not the pinky, but the thumb and the fingers, and radiating down the biceps and the arm. That muscle is called subclavius. Now, subclavius is a little muscle. I'm going to rotate my shoulder forward so you see my collarbone sticks out. This is the clavicle, and subclavius is a little muscle that lives underneath, below the clavicle, subclavius. Now, what goes through and deep to this muscle is the median nerve and also blood supply, subclavian vein and artery pass deep to this muscle. So other symptoms that you may have besides this ache down the biceps and the forearm into the hand and fingers, but not the pinky, you may also have a blockage there. It might be compressing a little bit into that blood supply. So you may have one hand that looks lighter than the other because it doesn't have the same blood supply. You might have one hand that feels colder than the other because it doesn't have the same blood supply and circulation. So this pain referral or numbness and tingling is often diagnosed as thoracic outlet syndrome. Now, if you do have thoracic outlet syndrome, you will also want to release the scalenes and pec minor because those can also contribute. But more specific, what I find is mostly missing is this subclavius muscle. Now, its job is to stabilize the entire shoulder girdle. So the shoulder girdle means that clavicle and the scapula, and then also the humerus, because the humerus attaches into, or the upper arm bone attaches into the scapula, into the shoulder blade, which then connects into the clavicle, which then gets anchored right here at the sternum. Technically, the sternoclavicular joint is where your arm connects into the central axis of your body. So you want to have free range of motion, free of that ache, free of numbness and tingling, loss of blood supply. And often this little muscle is just in there gripping with lots of tension because it's been stabilizing your shoulder girdle. Now, the kinds of things that injure this muscle are falling and catching yourself on your arm, throwing, if you are riding bike and you're curled forward a lot, or if you slouch a lot. Let's see. And then also, if you're like walking your dog and any kind of jerk of the arm, if you're walking your dog looks around, squirrel, runs to chase a squirrel or whatever, and pulls your shoulder a little bit out of the socket. Yes, that's going to activate tension also in the rotator cuff muscles, but a big muscle that will, a big response is going to activate in the subclavius, this little muscle right along here. And when it gets taut and filled with trigger points and tension, it's going to create that radiating numbness, tingling, deep ache. It may come and go. It might get worse when you lay and sleep on that shoulder, or when you sleep on the other shoulder and that arm drapes forward, or if your arm gets pulled back, that is going to kind of activate the symptoms. The symptoms could come and go. So one other not well understood condition that creates tension in this muscle is stress. Because this muscle attaches between the clavicle and the first rib, it anchors the clavicle down to the rib, which can contribute to internal rotation of the shoulder, forward rounding of the shoulders. But when you get stressed, your body wants to activate fight or flight. Your nervous system will activate fight or flight. And the ribs will want to lift to allow the lungs to expand as fully as they can, so you can run or you can punch and you can get out of danger. Our brains read stress as danger. So when this happens, the subclavius will contribute to lifting the rib cage up so that your lungs can expand more and you can breathe more deeply and fully. Chronic states of stress can contribute to this radiating ache, numbness, and tingling down the arms. So you want to breathe in your belly. And now I'm going to show you how to release that muscle using 2 balls. We're going to use the soft ball. Always want to start with the softest ball that you have. Hopefully you have one of these balls. The links to the balls will be in the description. The soft ball, because we want to not shock the nervous system with a hard ball, especially going into our tender spots. We don't want to start with a firm ball. Soft ball, and then a smaller, firmer ball. This is the small myofoam ball, so we can get real specific, right? Subclavius lives deep to pec major. So we have to soften this clavicular head of the pec major before we sink in and up into subclavius. So the first thing we're going to do is just check. We're going to check that shoulder girdle, see how it's moving. Is it opening back? Place your hand, right hand up on the wall, scoop the elbow a little bit forward, turn your body away, and see if it's getting stuck. And if it's getting stuck, see if it's happening right here around the clavicle. Often it is. Okay, let's check the left side. Seeing my left side always tends to be a little more tender, more sticky, because I broke my left collarbone when I was singing my head off, swinging in a hammock when I was 7 years old, fell, hit the roots of the tree, broke the collarbone. So this one always requires just a little bit more attention. So we're gonna start with the soft ball right under the collarbone. We're gonna step up to the wall. Notice I'm working on this side, so I turn my body a little bit toward the other side. If I'm going straight on, I'm not really going to follow the curves of the body or the collarbone. So you have to turn about 45 degrees, and then just start rocking your weight side to side. Step in kind of close. When you're working at the wall, if you want more pressure, you can step your body back from the wall. But I like to keep it, especially for this part, we're just warming up, right? If you go to get massage work, you don't want someone to just go to your most tender spots and start jamming their elbow in. Why on earth would you do that to yourself? Right? You don't want to start with a firm ball. Never use a lacrosse ball in your body. And you want to start with a soft ball. You're wooing your nervous system. You cannot force your nervous system into submission. You can force some points out of your body. I guarantee you they're going to come back with a vengeance and they're going to bring friends. You're just going to ultimately be increasing the tension in your body. So we're softening pec major, going side to side along the collarbone. You'll start to notice as the protective tension begins to soften, because it trusts you because you're using a soft ball, you'll start to notice that out about an inch or two along that collarbone, there's some tenderness. We're hydrating the tissue, getting it ready, and now we're going to take that firmer ball, only takes 30-40 seconds. We're going to get it right up here underneath the collarbone, step in closer. It's much more exciting with this small ball. And then cruising along slowly along the collarbone, along the base of the collarbone. You should feel the collarbone the ball pressing up to the collarbone. And then when you get out about an inch or two from the sternum, from the center, you'll feel there's tenderness, a tender spot. Just feel free to adjust the ball down a little bit if you need. And then bend the knees a little, sink in the knees, and that's going to drive that ball up to trap that up against the collarbone. And then we're going to bring some movement into it. In this shoulder, I'm going to shrug it up to the ear and down. This is what I'm doing on the other shoulder. I'm just shrugging it up to the ear and down. And by activating the muscle and moving it through a little range of motion, that helps to shift that pattern of tension out of the muscle to restore it back to tone where it's not gripping. Ah, so good. All right, so now we're just going to check and see. Place the hand on the wall, elbow curves in, turn your body away. Now is it sticky somewhere else? Do you need to work somewhere else? Can you feel that your shoulder opens more freely now? Mine sure does. I'm gonna take that soft ball again. We're gonna bring the soft, squishy ball up to the base of the collarbone, top of the pecs, clavicular head of pec major, because we have to go through that to get to subclavius. And so we're just rocking side to side, long, slow breaths in your belly. Pain is stressful, and our bodies go into that stress response when we're experiencing pain. So bring the breath back down to the belly. Let your nervous system know that you're taking care of things. Breath in the belly. And now I'm getting really clear about where that little spot is. This is my broken collarbone from my hammock accident. So I'm gonna bring that ball right underneath the collarbone. Bring it to the wall, step in closer. It's a much smaller ball, more firm. So we wanna get that ball right under the collarbone. And we're gonna go side to side again. I want you to find the sort of pinnacle of tension through there. I can find it right about there. And then I'm gonna sink in the knees, soften the knees so that you sink forward into the pecs, and then soften the knees to sink upward. Once you pin that spot, then you start to move that shoulder up and down. Relax your jaw, soften your eyes, relax the rest of your body as much as possible. Notice if you're holding your breath. Notice if it's engaging or activating some of that numbness or tingling or ache in your arm. If it is, then you know that this muscle right here, this spot, is contributing and often causing those symptoms of thoracic outlet syndrome or median nerve entrapment. Let's just sink in, take one more breath, stop the movement. Okay, we're gonna move off the ball, put the ball down, bring the hand to the wall, scoop the elbow a little forward. Now that elbow scoops a lot more easily forward because the collarbone is free to slide up away from that rib. Turn away from the wall. So good. Take a couple more breaths. Release. Roll the shoulders around, maybe little side to side. Just keep the collarbones lifting up and away from the ribs. Keep that tissue hydrating. Maybe do some circles. So doing this at least once a day for a while should clear that tension within a few days. Sometimes folks do this once and it's just the ticket that they've needed to shift that tension and that pain and get rid of that numbness and tingling. So again, I'm Kat Matlock here at Free Body in Asheville, North Carolina. I lead regular classes and I have a Super Shoulders series starting tomorrow, April 15th, 2021. Those classes are live stream and they're recorded. So you can sign up even after the class has begun and you'll get the first class or the second class sent to you. It's a series of 3 weeks, hour 15-minute classes. We're gonna do everything. We're gonna get into subscapularis. We're gonna release the shoulder. We're gonna address deep ache in the shoulder, lack of mobility, inability to bring the hand back behind you easily. All of those things are things we're gonna cover in the Super Shoulder series. And then that class will be packaged up and available for sale on the website, freebodynow.com. Check out the website also for the balls. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell. I look forward to continuing to support you on your journey of living well in your body. Thank you.